So this is today's tip. Get your secondary messaging sorted. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a kind of pyramid of messaging. So lots of people talk about having your primary messaging. Your primary messaging is what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it. And I think lots of people do that really well. They can really easily say, you know, we all hear about this elevator pitch. They can really easily say, I help these people do this by doing this. Most of you will have that sorted. But what I don't see is your secondary messaging. So I believe that people don't buy from you because of what you do. There's too many people doing what you do. I believe that people buy from you because of your secondary messaging. And this is more about who you are and what your values are. So, sorry if I'm wobbly, I'm just leaning on my own knee. So your secondary messaging is something that makes you you. It's something you really believe in. And if people are going to choose, let's say you're a Facebook ads person and people are thinking, okay, I need a Facebook ads person, and they're looking at 10 of you and you'll kind of do the same thing and you'll kind of the same price, they're going to go on something else. That something else is normally the other things that you talk about. The things that make you relatable to them, the things that they agree with that you talk about. So for me, my secondary messaging is calling out the bullshit in this industry. Somebody's got to do it. Generally falls on me, but also bullying. So I'm an anti-bullying crusader. I'm an ambassador for Bullies Out. I talk about those kind of things a lot. I also talk about things like having a business with chronic diseases. So if other people believe those things and they're looking to work with a strategist, then they're going to go, oh, well, I don't like all the stuff that's online either. And I like what Lisa talks about there. So I'm going to go and work with her. Or they might say, well, I was bullied and I really understand how that is. And I know Lisa was bullied and she's now an anti-bullying crusader. So I'm going to go and work with her rather than other people. Or it might be something completely different. But if you talk about your secondary messaging, you are much more likely to get more people work with you. Now, the biggest problem here is that most people say, well, I don't even know what my secondary messaging is. So here's my tip on how to find your secondary messaging. It doesn't have to have anything to do with your business. It could be that you really believe that we need to look after the planet. It could be that you believe that education is completely ruined in the country you're in and needs to be completely redone. It could be that you really care about people that are dyslexic because you're dyslexic, and so you talk a lot about that and you do some things to do with that. It needs to be something of a movement if you can make it something of a movement. So here's how to find what it is. If you could go onto Facebook tomorrow and write anything without fear of being cancelled or judged, what would you write? Whatever you've just thought of and then gone, I'd never write it, but that's your secondary messaging and you should write it. Because nobody gets remembered for just people pleasing all the time and just being nice and not saying what they really think and not starting any kind of change or movement. Remember that to be a thought leader, you need to have thoughts. And yet so many people hide their own thoughts because the fear of what other people might think about what they think and what they believe in. If you want to be a thought leader, you have to know that you're not going to be liked or agreed with by everybody, or in fact by most people. So that's my tip for today. I hope it helps you work out what your secondary messaging is and that you can start being bolder about what you really believe in, because that's what gets you seen.